It is July 10th, 2025 in Southern California, and we're currently entering the gateway to hell. Oh, thank you, spam caller, right when I started recording. It is 100 degrees right now, according to my weather station. The unavailable is calling me as usual, even though I'm on the don't call list. I digress because it's going to interrupt this live broadcast for the next 30 seconds. It's going to soon go beep, 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 beep when my answer machine is concluded being harassed. Anyway, this is the complete. Thank you. I knew that was coming. Enjoy the soundtrack of my existence. This is the complete novels of Jane Austen, and I bought this mostly because we watch Jeopardy a lot, and I noticed that not Sense and Sensibility, that's the first one, this book, but the second one, Pride and Prejudice, comes up as an answer an awful lot. And I thought, wow, I know that's on the important novels list to read, but they sure bring it up a lot. And I thought I got to read some Jane Austen. So I found this book. It's very beautiful, and it's got all 6 of her novels back to back: Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, Mansfield Park, Emma, Northanger Abbey, and Persuasion. And one of them, to my enjoyment, is going to be apparently a scary kind of novel. But it starts with Sense and Sensibility. It's around 203 pages. And my vision is not horrible, but it's not great either. And these pages, the lettering is super small. So 203 pages, if you think of a normal book, it's really like 400 probably. It's about half size compared to a lot of other writing. So I read it 25 pages a day in tandem with my Narnia books, which I'm on the 4th Narnia novel, I think, or 5th. I can't remember. The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Anyway, those you can mow through super fast. They're very quick. And this is not. So I do 25 pages a day in this. I read it in 8 days. And I've also been doing 25 pages a day in the Narnia books, and you can mow through them probably about 5, 6, 7 days a piece. And I've been on a kind of a bummer lately because I didn't really like Sense and Sensibility very much, and I'm going to get into why. And I don't really like the Narnia books, so I'm reading a combination of stuff that I don't really dig. And the problem is I wanted to keep going back to back and read all 6 of these concurrently, and I don't think I can do it. I'm going to read them all. I've got a placeholder playlist for these, but they're so long-winded. There's Jane in there. The writings in this, the way they speak, it goes on forever to say just one sentence. It's like 15 sentences long to say one thing. There's a lot of subplots, and it's not one central story per se. It's several of them. It's more like a soap opera. And the premise is basically like a lot of books I've been reading lately is you've got order and then you've got freedom. And on the order spectrum, everything is in control where it's supposed to be, but it's not as exciting, or it's even harassing other people that want to be free. And then on the free side, they can do whatever they want, run amok, and they have fun, but they don't have any order. So they end up harming themselves and then annoying the people that have order. So this one is kind of like that too, but it's more money versus not money, and how the desire to be happy sometimes conflicts with being able to take care of yourself. So, modern times here, we struggle with the same things, and you push your children to get properly educated just so that they can live and not have to worry about not being able to do anything. And basically it's the same premise with these people, is that if they don't have financial sustenance, they cannot get married and therefore have a happy life and existence. And some of the people kind of shun that idea and just get married anyway. And the one quote in there was from the older mom, and she was basically saying, well, once he gets married, he'll pop a baby out once a year and end up destitute and unhappy the rest of his life. And there's a lot of truth to that, right? I mean, you chase happiness sometimes, and then you end up maybe not finding it, or if you do find it, you find it for a short period of time, but then you end up finding a lot of additional unhappy things that go along with it. So it explores that kind of idea, but the book is so bourgeoisie, mega rich, I guess, versus not ultra poor, but just kind of not one of us kind of a situation. And a lot of people probably can't relate to that level of money. And it just comes across snarky, of course, which I think is what Jane Austen was kind of maybe getting at. She wasn't raised rich, so she's kind of a little resentful of those people and the way they prioritize things over treating other people perhaps fairly. And apparently, well, not apparently, they kind of wrap up at the end with happy bows and everybody kind of achieving something of happiness, it seems. The thing that's weird about it, though, in our society, marriage is becoming lesser of a priority. And it's very obvious that the women of this day totally relied on men for their sustenance. And if they didn't have a guy that was well-to-do, they were in big trouble. And then it talked about if a guy got properly educated, then right after he's going to be looking for a wife because, he's got means and stuff like that. And implied that if the guy was broke, that he couldn't get married, is what it seemed like, and therefore can't have a normal existence that's pleasing at all. And yeah, a lot of people would challenge that kind of idea now. There's probably still some truth to it, depending on which circle and of people that you hang around with and your religious background, probably mostly because churches, tend to lead towards marriage more than secular people. But the thing is, my eyes hate me for reading 25 pages a day. If you're going to read these stories, I would recommend reading like maybe less than 20 a day, because it can get really just drags on. Now, that said, it is important literature. You can tell it's written very well, and it does have a purpose. It brings you back into their time, and it gives you like a window to see how some of those people lived back then. And, that's important. Now, whether you're going to enjoy it or not is kind of more based on your personality, maybe, and your belief system. Do you feel like, people need to be married for whatever reason or not need to be married? Or do you feel like you're looking for a man to take care of you rather than you controlling your destiny with your own career as a woman? There's a lot of those things in there that might affect your view of this book. It might be a waste of time for somebody with a modern viewpoint, I guess. But other than that, it can get really long-winded. I wouldn't call it boring. I guess some people would probably say it's boring. It's very just soap opera-esque. So I could see one group perhaps of females that, want to think of some Prince Charming that's got a lot of money and a good place in life and being wooed by that guy or something. They might enjoy that kind of a Disney thought process and reading this. We tried to watch Downton Abbey on TV, and I could not stand it. This is just not my bag. I would think this book more gears towards women, but again, depending on your viewpoint on things, and if you're looking for somebody to kind of sweep you off your feet or not. And then perhaps you can almost in a way relate to the old mother that disinherits the son, perhaps more than some of the other characters, because it seems like they say with age comes wisdom. And whether the woman was being wise or old and crotchety, is up to the person looking at it. It's a lot to do with controlling of the children's lives instead of letting them do their thing and either succeeding or making their own mistake and learning from it, I guess. I don't know. It's very complicated, complex, a lot of story strings in it. And like I say, I don't think I can go on to Pride and Prejudice next. It's barely over 200 pages also, but I'm going to have to sit this back up on the shelf. And you know what I'm really craving is Earl Stanley Gardner Perry Mason book. I haven't read one in a while. The other ones that are looking good up there, like Mark Twain's Life on the Mississippi, maybe something a little bit more manly than Sense and Sensibility, but not bad. It's good. It's just dependent on what you like to read, I suppose. And I was going to say, nothing will ever be as bad as Ulysses. That's the absolute worst book I've ever tried to read in my life, and under no circumstances was Sense and Sensibility anywhere near as bad as that one. Long-winded, can be a little boring sometimes, hard to follow, perhaps. Maybe a little less relevant than a lot of other stuff. Maybe more gender leaning, female than male, but still valid piece of historical reference, I guess, and maybe more soap opera-esque. I guess that's all I got to say about that one.